Hi there. So what I'd like to talk about today is something that affects so many people, mostly women, probably some men. And it's a subject that's loaded with emotion and can really impact a woman's life or a man's life. Sorry, I don't want to exclude the men. And that's the subject of body weight. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I have many patients that come to see me for hormone balancing who struggle with body weight. And at some point in their life, they notice that the pounds are adding up, the scale's going up, and they feel like they have no control over the situation because they can calorie restrict or exercise or change their diet, and they don't necessarily lose the weight. And it can be very, very frustrating. I mean, obviously, right? Like, especially for people who are not used to having such lack of control over their weight, it's very distressing when the scale starts adding up, even though you're eating healthy and you're taking care of yourself, right? Why is this happening? And I've asked myself that a lot of times because every time I meet these women, and it's always about hormones. That's the context that we need. I explain, listen, your hormones are definitely out of balance, and that can play a role in weight for sure. And we want to balance the hormones, but there's a lot more going on that hormones won't fix. So then we start talking about all the deeper causes that affect weight. So anyways, my point is, like, this does come up a lot with hormones. Women in their 40s often will notice the weight creeping up as their estrogen levels are being less balanced by progesterone. So it's a very classic symptom of hormone imbalance. And again, hormones can sometimes help with the weight, and they definitely play a role. Some women who are very lucky, you give them the right hormone balance, you help them work that out, and they'll drop some weight. And that's amazing. It feels so good. But what do you do when you don't drop the weight with balancing your hormones? What do you do then? We don't really have answers. A lot of people might do severe calorie restricting or intermittent fasting or excessive exercise, or they'll take supplements. I mean, there's a whole world out there, right, for weight loss. But what I want to touch on today is something that you may not be aware of. And I think it's really important to know, which is that if there's body weight coming on the body for no reason, you have to know that there's a reason. And you have to know that your body is not trying to go against you. It's not trying to rebel. What your body is trying to do is to protect you. And when I recently heard this, I just listened to a whole lecture about this. When I heard this thought that, our body is really just trying to protect us, which I'll explain soon, it made me feel such love and appreciation for the human body, for my body. Think about all the things that our body's doing for us on a day-to-day basis. We don't even realize why things are happening, but everything that happens is to protect us and keep us safe and alive. So if body weight happens to be a side effect, we get really caught up in it, not realizing that it serves a very fundamental role in our life. And obviously we want to try and eliminate the need for that to be there and allow our bodies to just release that weight, but just to appreciate that it's possibly saving your life. And the way that body fat can save your life is that your liver, as it's handling all of the different toxins and medicines you've been exposed to, pesticides, herbicides, solvents, artificial smells that come your way are toxic to the liver. As your liver is handling toxic adrenaline that's running through our systems because we can be stressed at times, it's managing all that. Our liver is handling everything, and it can only do so much. And it also is slowed down by the fact that we're exposed to heavy metals, which can clog the liver, or the way we're eating, lots of fat might burden the liver. There might be viruses in the liver. These are very common. So that's all affecting the liver. So the liver might be a little bit compromised to begin with. Plus it has to do all these different things for you. And so what happens is the liver starts to throw fat in different places. It can't handle the job. It's supposed to disperse it, but it just can't. So it sends it out, and the fat often will be diluting the toxins. So it throws fat, let's say in the belly. That's a really common one. And within that fat is just filled with toxins. The liver's like, I can't deal with this. But it's toxic, right? So it has to store it somewhere. So it stores it in the fat. So every time you look at your fat and you're like, man, I wish you weren't there, you have to think about it. What's in that fat? And where would that stuff be if it wasn't in the fat? It could be causing massive disease in the body, God forbid. So just having that understanding, at least when I studied this lecture and heard that, I was like, oh my God, that puts a whole other spin on body weight issues. We really don't understand the full picture. And so one of the exercises that was recommended, which is super cool, I really liked it, was just trying to shift our relationship with our body and, you know, looking at all the areas where we would normally criticize, like, oh, I hate that part of my body, I hate that part. And instead, practicing saying, I love you, thank you for helping keep me alive, and practicing that, and hopefully creating a little more love in our relationship with ourselves. Now, of course, it's important to also deal with the cause of the fat, right? How come our body needs to do that? And cleansing is cleansing the body of toxins, ridding it of things, balancing out the imbalance in bacteria, getting rid of viral loads, getting rid of heavy metals. That's the ticket. That's our pathway to success for people who have stubborn weight gain. The more you do that, the more you help your liver, the better off your hormones will be, by the way. You'll need way less bioidentical hormones if that's what you're pursuing. And you'll feel 1,000 times better. Plus, you'll get rid of inflammation, and certain symptoms you had may improve. So what we want to do is focus on helping the liver helping the liver heal and work well, which in turn has a very nice impact on our adrenals, on our lymphatic circulation. It gets everything going. It's our body healing itself. Remember, our bodies know how to heal ourselves. The issue is that there's stuff in its way. So if someone's gaining weight, the body's like, I can't do this. I can't work with this situation. And so it's tossing fat everywhere and building up weight. We need to allow our bodies to heal by getting rid of these pathogens, getting rid of these toxins. And the way to do that, you know, there's many ways, but one of them is functional medicine. It's amazing an approach to health where you look for the deeper causes. They do testing from the States. They look at your stool. They do samples. They can check for metals. That's a great way. You have to invest money in these pathways. Of course, none of this is covered by OHIP, but it's good to know it's out there for those that really want it. So functional medicine is great. You can probably work with different naturopaths on cleansing, although arguably some of our stuff that we do in naturopathic and integrative medicine may work better or not so well. Like, it really depends on the practitioner, but I really am a fan of functional medicine. I think they're very good. The other piece is addressing the subconscious thoughts and feelings in our life that we experience that contribute to where our body's at today. So if you have resentments, toxic energies, anger, bitterness, lack of love, whatever the emotional state you're in that you've had for a few years, that's maybe you call it your temperament or your personality or whatever, that is affecting the energy field. It's affecting your body. And so if you combine emotional stress, even subconscious emotional stress, with exposure to toxins, let's say viruses and whatever, your body is now vulnerable to the physical factors when you're in that emotional state. So that's kind of one of the ways that our subconscious and our conscious feelings and thoughts contribute to poor health, is that it makes us vulnerable to the external. If somebody has an amazing attitude, they can handle stress with good perspective, they let things go for real, they forgive people for real, they love with all their heart, not fearing being hurt, all that nice stuff, and they're really evolved in their consciousness, those people can be protected from viruses, pathogens, and whatever, because they're not draining their energy constantly with the stuff going on in their head. So their body naturally will fight off infections better, and their liver will naturally work better, and they'll just probably have an overall less of a toxic load on the body. So one of the things you can do is to help clear some of these energies in our field that are just like remnants of the past weighing us down, weighing us down too energetically, by working with someone who delves into that. I like theta healing. You could do hypnotherapy or any type of mindfulness that helps you access the subconscious. And then you just kind of like identify it and release, identify and release. So yeah, it's definitely multifactorial how we can help heal from that state where our body wants to hold on to the weight. But, you know, even in the meantime, as we're doing that, because that takes time, we want to just appreciate what our body's actually doing for us. All right, I hope you found that helpful. I will see you another day.